And many of those in the crowd call themselves Deadheads.
They are all there to see tonight's performance of the Grateful Dead. In fact, crowds have been gathering at Saratoga Performing Arts Center now for days, trying to stake out a spot to settle for tonight's event. The Dead, as they are nicknamed, grew out of the 60s acid rock era, and they have kept what can only be called a cult following ever since. That dedication is evident tonight as the crowd thickens now. It's back. Bill Lambden is there in the midst of all the action. In fact, driving up, Bill, you reported back on the two-way, the Northway was as busy as you had ever seen it.
Yes, it is, Ed, and just in case you were wondering whether there was a crowd, I think we've answered that question for you. A lot of Deadheads, and yes, that's a python. What's your python's name?
Her name is Ramona.
Why did you bring her to the concert?
She loves Dead shows.
Well, just part of the human spectacle that you see at any Dead show, Ed. I'm getting stickers of all types. I hope they're suitable for family audience. You know, Phil Bailey has also been up here today. He reports that this has all the makings of a $2.5 million night.
Scenes like this are a Dead giveaway. The Grateful Dead are only a stone's throw away. By midday, there was bumper-to-bumper traffic in Saratoga Springs, and S.P.A.C's primary parking lot was already full of fans who call themselves Deadheads.
We love the music, and we love the band, and we love each other, right? We love
The Grateful Dead is a 25-year-old band with beginnings in Haight-Ashbury's hippie movement. A Dead concert is like being back at Woodstock. How many concerts have you been to?
Somewhere between 350 and 390.
They've created their own subculture. It's become almost like its own little country.
Ironically, the Dead just had their first top 40 hit. The Dead have never needed a top 40 hit. Even though S.P.A.C is making an effort to keep tonight's crowd small, if they do set an attendance record, they'll be breaking one they set. And if they only set the second best attendance record ever, well, that one belongs to them too. S.P.A.C stands to make $500,000 tonight, but Saratoga Springs merchants may make $2 million during the Deadheads' brief stay. And the unusual crowd has given officials little to complain about.
Much easier than most rock audiences.
They are a corner of the Woodstock nation that never died. Phil Bailey, News 13, Saratoga Springs.
Well, the gates have just opened up, and they have been vising all day. They've even had recordings with Jerry Garcia, one of the Dead leaders, going on the air, telling people, if you don't have a ticket, don't come. You're not going to get in. They have a lot of security here, so if you're going to try to hop the fence, they're probably going to catch you, and then you have further problems. It also looks like it's going to rain, unfortunately. We'll check with Bob later for the exact details on that, but a lot of people are hoping that Deadheads don't turn into wetheads. Randy Hughes wanted credit for that line. Too bad I couldn't deliver it properly.
Well, it's interesting to watch what's going on behind you, Bill. You got a tongue stuck out at you briefly there. A couple of victory signs. I know you're spending the night up there. I certainly hope you enjoy yourself.
Yes, I wish I had my tie-dyed T-shirt, Ed.
We'll see what we can do. Thanks, Bill. You know what's interesting is the age of these people. They're my generation. Some of it as young as your generation, but
and some of it a lot younger. And this is a group that has really had very few hits.
Yeah.
A lot of groups have had more hits in a year than the Deadheads have had, but $2.5 million for a one-night show.
It's going to be an interesting night, and of course we'll be back at 11. We'll have more. In fact, we'll go back and check with Bill about 6:30 too.
You know, the state's trying to do something about the deficit problem. Maybe they should sponsor a Dead concert, but some other people have different ideas.
We began nearly a half hour ago by telling you that more than 30,000 fans are filling the S.P.A.C grounds tonight for the Grateful Dead concert. Bill Lambden drew this assignment and is still up there with an interesting group, Bill.
Ed, we had hoped to show you the parking lot, but take my word for it, there's a parking lot behind all of these people. I've seen one girl going through here a little while ago collecting money for bail for some of her friends. Police have arrested at least one person in our midst. And, Carl, you tell me you have been to how many Dead concerts?
This is my 83rd.
Now, is that a full-time job for you?
No, I'm a consultant in the city. This is my enjoyment.
Computer consultant. Sure makes me rest easy as we go into the 21st century. That's the situation. We'll have more for you tonight at 11.
Thanks, Bill.
I hope they can limit it to the one arrest if that's the extent of the trouble, which is possible. That's not an crime and punishment. Top tonight's report.
While the United States government heads to court to stop what it calls union corruption, some 50 Deadheads head for the slammer. A crowd of over 30,000 had security and police officials busy tonight as Saratoga's all-time attendance champions, the Grateful Dead, returned with their legion of fans tonight. Ticket sales were cut off at 30,000. But Bill Lambden joins us now live to report that many thousands more assembled outside the gates. Bill.
Yeah, Chris, I guess the S.P.A.C promoters have a real quandary here because you want an act to draw, but they just draw too many people when they book the Grateful Dead here. So it was 3 years between the last time they appeared and tonight. You have to wonder whether it will be another 3 years or longer until they appear again. The crowd wants to see these people, and they don't want to hear that there's no room. It has caused a lot of problems. It has been a unique night. Grateful Dead fans, known as Deadheads, say the band, which is one of the last true continuing rock operations left over from the 60s, never plays the same music the same way. That is part of their enormous appeal.
Nothing like a Grateful Dead concert. Nothing like a Grateful Dead concert on this planet.
Ooh, yeah.
Or off it.
We're a couple of space seeds from Rio 7.
All over the parking lots tonight, space seeds and humans stood with one finger pointed up looking for scalpers. Meanwhile, many took a more direct route, pulling fences and running through gates, challenging the ever-present security.
There's so many people who haven't got tickets, and we really want to get in here, and they should just let us in. It'd be so good if they did.
Yeah, but if they let everybody in, there'll be 200,000 people in here.
We don't mind.
And by the time of the performance, some had made it their own personal free concert. Others did not. But with the Dead, there's always the next gig. Tickets or not. Ed and Chris, the cold front coming through has meant that it has rained off and on this evening, making the Deadheads wet heads, but it hasn't seemed to bother too many of these people. The band, of course, is in the amphitheater. They're not getting wet. They have been playing since about 8:30 tonight with one 30-minute intermission, and they are continuing to play. So who knows when the crowd will be out? Probably 45 minutes.
So were most of these arrests minor infractions?
As far as we know, they have been. Of course, it's very difficult to be in this whole area, so there may have been some things at this point that we are unaware of, but the ones that we witnessed were minor, people trying to get in without tickets.
That's what we're hearing back here, fairly minor. A couple of drug arrests, but it's controlled substance stuff. Nothing big, we hear.
Yeah.
Well, good luck getting home. You might beat the traffic.
Yeah, I hope
You going to the next Dead concert?
Yeah.
Rochester?
Yep. And then,
Tomorrow night?
yeah.
Deadheads don't go to one concert, they go to them all. Most disappeared this morning, but for a crew from California, last night's party didn't die. 30,000 listened to last night's concert. Another 10,000 are estimated to have hung around outside the gate. After a difficult overflow crowd in 1985, this concert took 2 years to plan. But S.P.A.C didn't plan on a whole new crowd of Deadheads who are young and rowdy.
No, we go. Down. Down.
Hundreds of those without tickets tried to penetrate the fenced perimeter. There were 100 arrests, mostly for fence jumping. There were some minor drug arrests and 6 drug overdoses. It did not reflect the Deadheads' mellow reputation. There's a division in the ranks.
If you're on the bus, you're like a 60s person, actual, true, loving, Deadhead with a sense of community. If you're a wannabe, you really don't know that much about the culture.
Even the band is aware of the change and circulated a letter in the crowd before the concert saying there are people out there who don't understand the tradition. This is threatening to ruin it for everyone. But despite the difficulties, S.P.A.C announced the Dead will be back. But first, they want to get the wannabes back on board the bus. Phil Bailey, News 13, Saratoga Springs.